Hunter to jail. And the guidelines, under the federal sentencing guidelines, suggest that it's such a sentence is warranted. Now, they're discretionary. The judges have to follow them.
Hey guys, welcome back to XCOM 2.
When it comes to that decision,
I think we're on a mission here, I'm not sure.
We're getting some real insight on no one is above the law, for example. What things mattered and what things didn't. Those shiny objects known as family members in the courtroom gave their love and their support, and that is a blessing, but they're not evidence.
Go back to Geoscape.
The prosecution say. Yeah, I mean, none of it worked.
I want to see how many people I got left.
District Attorney Alvin Bragg here in New York and Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo have both agreed to publicly testify before the House Judiciary Committee next month. And the hearing is set on July 12th, one day after former President Trump faces sentencing for those 34 charges in his New York criminal trial. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan says, and this is a quote, "This hearing will examine actions by state and local prosecutors to engage politically motivated prosecutions of federal officials." What do you make of this? And what can we get out of it? People are kind of becoming numb to Congress's hearings. Is this one going to deliver something that we might not think of?
Well, these hearings have a habit of turning into sort of a primal scream session.
They do.
Two parties. And there's a fear that that's going to happen here. Look, you're not going to have a Perry Mason moment. You're not going to have Colangelo saying, I was dispatched to dispatch Trump. Or Bragg to say, yeah, I know that there wasn't a crime here, but I'm elected and I had to do something. None of that's going to happen. They're going to deny having any direction. And by the way, you didn't need to have direction in this case. The politics for Bragg were all too obvious. He threw a flag on this case. His predecessor stopped the case going forward. So Bragg had already expressed his skepticism, and then his lead prosecutor resigned, wrote, in my view, an unethical book while this case was still pending to pressure him, and it worked, and he caved. Is he going to fess up to
Holy fucking load time, buddy.
Say, as the jury found, there was a real crime here. So we're going to have to wait for the appellate process. Trump is going to have a hard initial time, I expect, in this Trump system. It has not garnered a lot of faith for many of us. But I think ultimately it'd be hard for this verdict to be sustained through state and federal appeals.
Well, thank you for breaking that down. I think people will want to hear from these people because even in other blue cities, you see district attorneys like them making some similar type decisions and soft on crime that Alvin Bragg is so known for. So we'll cover it. Absolutely. Jonathan Turley, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, Harris.
The House could vote today to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress. Republicans want the audio recording of President Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur. Of course they do. Because the transcript that they got was changed and redacted reportedly to the point where, really, is that the man that Robert Hur called, a decent person who can't remember anything? I'm paraphrasing there. Well, we'll get to see if we get the tape. With a slim majority, every vote counts, but Republicans in Biden districts have signaled they'll play ball on this issue. Plus, a fresh explosion of anti-Israel hate happening in this country.
Spider suit.
There is only one solution.
Spider suit.
Wow. One protester even confronted President Biden yesterday at his gun violence speech, and the president appeared to defend her. He's towing a really tough line politically as more voters on his side of the aisle say they're against him and his policy on Israel. Steve Hilton in Focus Next.
There is also a pungent odor that only
the people you know, the voices you trust. All new Fox Station exclusives available now.
My dad spent 2 combat pilot tours in the Vietnam War, so I've come back to retrace his most important steps. I went to Vietnam to learn more about him. That was a big deal and what it meant to serve this great country. Dad, you are always with me.
Vietnam, Footsteps of My Father with Harris Faulkner. Fox Nation would like to thank active military and veterans this Memorial Day. Sign up and get your first year free.
I joined the Army in 2004. The later part of my military service, I operated as a civil affairs team leader within special operations.
I'm down to my last team, so no, I gotta wait for this one.
ISIS.
Here it
We
is.
were doing a routine combat patrol where we were at one of the schools where girls had returned to school. They were getting ready to return home.
Archon.
ISIS saw they were
Archon.
losing
Cool.
control of losing their grip on the people, that they targeted my team for an assassination.
Archons are cool.
An ISIS suicide bomber had squeezed his way into my team and detonated a suicide vest. It's a bad day. I had a total of 22 life-saving surgeries over 2 years that I spent in the hospital. We were worried. We didn't know how we were going to be able to pay for the house, how we were going to continue to pay our mortgage. That's when the Tunnel and Towers Foundation stepped in and said, we have a solution for your problem. You don't have to worry about packing up and moving somewhere else because Tunnel and Towers Foundation is going to help us make this a forever home.
I was very emotional not wanting to see Jonathan's family come up to their new home because they're going to be spending so many happy moments in this beautiful home.
Tunnel and Towers Foundation didn't just provide me with a way to be independent in my own place, but they gave me hope. A hope for the future, knowledge that I can overcome these things, but I don't have to do it alone. Hello, I'm Major Jonathan Turnbull, United States Army retired. The Tunnel and Towers Foundation built me a smart home that will give me more independence and a better quality of life. I am asking you to donate $11 a month so that T2T can help others that were injured while protecting our great country. Please visit t2t.org or call 1-844-BRAVEST.
I'm Admiral Tom Lynch, Chairman of New Day USA. We hear from veterans all across the country. They worry a lot about being in debt and having the money they need for their families. Big credit card balances can add up over time. Now, just making the minimum payments could break the family budget. Refinance and take control of your credit card debt. Call New Day USA and get the financial peace of mind you and your family deserve.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-844-946-1673.
I'm Richard Carr, and I love my hose. My hose is lightweight, my hose will not kink, and my hose is anti-leak. It ain't those old hoses. This is my hose. The new pocket hose Copper Bullet, now infused with real copper, so your water is always clean and lead-free. Just turn on the water and watch your hose grow and grow to a full-size 3/4-inch hose. It stretches and expands like a rubber band. And when you turn off the water, away it goes, shrinking and squeezing that water out until it's practically bone dry. And that makes it easy to carry and put away. Our new inner tube uses 3 layers of high-strength latex on the inside. Then it's wrapped in a new polymer filament jacket, similar to the technology used in forest fire hoses because it's light and tough, 3 times stronger than the other hoses. It's guaranteed for 10 years. Nearly impossible to tear or snag. And the redesigned connector protector helps stop leaks at the spigot. But my favorite part of our new hose build, the oversized, easy-to-grip fittings. Easy on and off, even with gloves. With more than 100 patents worldwide, it's the best pocket hose in the world. Get the super light 25-foot pocket hose Copper Bullet today for only $29.99. But wait, call now and get our copper spray nozzle with our exclusive thumb drive free. Simply use your thumb to turn off and on. And with 10 unique patterns, you'll have a setting for every job. It's a $30 value. Yours free with every 50-foot Copper Bullet. But it's not available in stores. This is an exclusive release of our newest pocket hose. There is a strict limit of 3 per order, so don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-709-4650 or visit copperbullethose.com. So call 1-800-709-4650 or visit copperbullethose.com. Order now.
Reminder, meant to make your appointment.
I don't want to wait or have surgery for my pubic contraction.
I want a non-surgical treatment.
And if non-surgical treatment isn't offered,
I'll give a second opinion. Take charge of your treatment. If you can't lay your hand flat, visit Fonda.
Rock and roll, man.
Get started.
With fast lines, create factory-grade visual solutions to perfect your process.
fast sides. Make your statement.
A House vote is expected today on contempt of Congress charges against Attorney General Merrick Garland. Why? Because AG Garland has refused to hand over subpoenaed audio recordings of Special Counsel Robert Hur's interview with President Biden. Remember, this is over the classified documents that Biden took since the time he was a senator. The Department of Justice did release an edited transcript of the interview. However, Republicans say that's not enough, especially since the interview led Special Counsel Robert Hur.
Yeah, that's why he's in charge, right?
A quote, elderly man with a poor memory. And he used that as a reason not to charge him. The GOP only holds a thin majority in the House, so all of them will need to be behind the evidence. One moderate Republican from a Biden district says, bring on the vote.
You comply with the subpoenas, the way it works in this country, and at the end of the day, you know, the framers were very clear that whether one agrees with it or not, Congress has responsibility to provide accountability and oversight. The administration should hand over the video and audio, audio tapes or recordings, and ultimately you comply with the subpoena order. You're just trying to run the clock so there can be no transparency.
Steve Hilton, Fox News contributor. So do you think they'll hand over the tape? Not. But why are they important?
See every day why they're important, Harris. When we watch Biden, we watch him in these rooms, and every single day now there's the terrible slurring of the words and losing his train of thought. He can barely get through a 5-minute speech on a prompter without making some kind of hash of it. And for years I've been saying, if this is what Biden is like in public, when he knows the cameras are on him, imagine what it's like in private, where he doesn't have to perform. That's where he's making the crucial decisions. Now, this transcript is private, and that's why they don't want to release it, because I think they realize that if they release it, it's pretty much death. Because the American people will see very clearly that this man is absolutely incapable of being president now, let alone for another 4 years. So the fact that Garland is blocking this, yet again, it's another example where instead of being the independent head of the judiciary system in the executive branch that he's supposed to be, he is acting as Biden's personal lawyer. And that is not appropriate. I don't think we'll get the tapes, but we absolutely should.
All right, ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas thrown into doubt after Hamas responded to the deal demanding amendments. 2 weeks of silence mean they want to make some changes, some edits. Israel calls it out to a rejection. And Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is in Qatar today. They're on life support.
It's time for the haggling to stop and the ceasefire to start. It's as simple as that. Israel accepted the proposal as it was and as it is. Hamas didn't. So I think it's pretty clear what needs to happen.
This comes as the United States reportedly is considering unilateral talks with Hamas, excluding Israel, to free 5 American hostages held in Gaza. An opinion headline calls out the president this way.
True.
Joe Biden and the left must know better than to deal with the devil known as Hamas. You know, I have wondered from the beginning of the push for a ceasefire, all the pressure on Israel. The president then calls on Hamas to step to the table. But he doesn't say words like this. If you don't come to the table and give all the hostages back immediately, it's an affront to us because you have Americans. What do you think we might do?
You're so exactly right. That's what's so frustrating about this whole farce, frankly, of negotiations about the hostages and so on. Just let's be clear. This is a terror organization. You don't negotiate with terrorists, you defeat them. And you have right now the Qataris, this endless reference to them as intermediaries. We're working with the Qataris as intermediaries. No, the Qataris are harboring the leaders of Hamas. So we need to be putting pressure on them to force Hamas to release the hostage, to make the pressure so intense on those who have an influence here that they have to give up the hostage. Instead of that,
We're doing this sort of middleman thing and negotiating. It is so weak. It is so pathetic, but it's sadly typical of this Biden administration.
Look, if you cut Israel out on this deal, that's more than a middleman. You're working for the terrorists now. And this is a president who tacitly is already working with the drug cartel. He's letting people into this country who endanger us because we can't vet everybody. This is a parallel to this. This is like 2 columns of a house that's about to fall. And we live in it.
Exactly. I mean, this is the thing about Biden that we said from the beginning, right? That he was sold to us as a great foreign policy expert and all these years of experience. Never know. What really matters is that he's totally weak and unprincipled. He's always been like that. He's been this machine politician who's just climbed the ranks. Whatever was good for him politically, he would do. He doesn't have any firm convictions or beliefs. And so when the push comes to shove, in a situation like this, he totally caves and doesn't show the strength and the leadership that we need.
I mean, it's scary times. It really is.
Exactly.
Israel deserves a better friend than we're being right now. An eruption of anti-Israel protests are occurring across the United States again this week. Let's watch. Well, it was kind of a real raw version of Let's Go Brandon there in the middle about Biden. They said the real words. Progressive Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did disavow the anti-Semitism. However, she said it's been weaponized and undermines the progressive movement.
Anti-Semitism is an assault on our values as Americans and especially as progressives. When the Jewish community is threatened, the progressive movement is undermined. And weaponizing anti-Semitism is used to divide us and create a false choice between the fight for Jewish safety and the cause for Palestinian self-determination.
You could set an egg timer for how long it took for this to come out. An opinion piece says Ocasio-Cortez is worried about her political movement being tainted and perhaps even future primary woes. It's not about the tolerance of her progressive movement. Her track record and choice of allies make it clear her concerns are cynical, not sincere. Steve.
I mean, exactly. And that's exactly true of Biden and Kamala Harris. And, just think about the difference when you saw their reaction, Biden and all the rest of them, when they remember all those speeches they made about the biggest threat to America's security, domestic extremism and white supremacy, that disgusting speech in Philadelphia with the blood red background, all of that was about this kind of, about a kind of extremism that they argued was on the right. But they see this now much more widespread on the left, on the streets, in the campuses, in their own party, barely a word. I mean, it's such hypocrisy. All that matters to them is winning those votes, the youth vote, the swing states, the Muslim vote. That's all they're thinking about. And any kind of principle is just out the window. And it's really shameful.
I want you to see this. An anti-Israel protester interrupted President Biden's gun violence speech yesterday. Yes, he had an event about guns shortly after the conviction of his son, Hunter Biden, on a gun.
Fucking prick.
Here's how Biden responded.
The main reason I'm here to say, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Innocent children have been lost. They make a full point.
That makes him look like the most duplicitous person on the planet right now. He's got all the power, and he's saying, I understand a lot of people call me Genocide Joe. He didn't say those words, but that's what he's doing because they were yelling at him. And then the other side of the room starts to call for 4 more years of Joe Biden. He tells them to be quiet. I mean, if you're running his campaign, your head is exploding right now.
But again, I mean,
Shit.
this guy is just such a massive embarrassment to us all, Biden. I mean, look at that. She calls him genocide Joe. So yeah, she's got a point. What are you talking about? A decent leader with any kind of moral backbone or strength would have said, well, how dare you use that term when it's Hamas who went into Israel with the specific intent of wiping out the Jewish state, and all that Israel is doing is defending its own people against butchery and slaughter and murder and the worst crimes we've seen for decades. How dare you use that word about Israel, our ally Israel? That's what a decent, strong leader would have done, but instead we have this embarrassment, this decrepit Biden. I mean, it's so awful to see what's happening right now.
Look, there was a time, and I've been looking at tapes, I'm going to share it on the show in days coming, of him a year ago, him 5 years ago, him a decade ago, and farther back. He's a different person now. And the person he is on that stage now is not deft enough to do what you're saying. At least he's not proving to be. Maybe he can change our minds and become yet another version. Steve Hilton, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Oh, are you fucking serious?
Is looming large over the 2024 presidential race. How?
I think that Hunter Biden's decision to
Fucking turd of all things.
and take this all the way to trial has proven politically disastrous for the Biden family at large.
So will it have an effect on voters? Do they even care? Are they paying attention? Probably not as much as you think, because that economy with bursting inflation is tough. We'll dig into the politics of it with the power challenge of the big news.
This program is brought to you by Todd J. Young Wealth Management. Our clients go up with the market, lock in their gains, and never lose money when the market goes down. Get your complimentary video investor's guide today.
In this crazy world, how do you protect and grow your investment portfolio and your retirement money? The smart investor has their money in a guaranteed product that goes up with the market, their gains lock in, and when the market goes down, they don't lose money. Forward with their money, never backward. And we do it for our clients every day. If you have at least $100,000 to invest, get your investor's guide and see if it's right for you.
Introducing new Advil Targeted Relief, the only topical pain reliever with 4 powerful pain-fighting ingredients that start working on contact to target tough pain at the source for up to 8 hours of powerful relief. New Advil Targeted Relief.
You know what's crazy?
That this is better than cooking at home. I mean, more affordable than groceries.
Of course. Groceries are expensive.
Thought I was in trouble there for a second.
You are.
Choosing a treatment for your chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, can be overwhelming. So ask your doctor about Botox. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they even start. It's the #1 prescribed branded chronic migraine treatment so far.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Treatments have been given to over 850,000 chronic migraine patients.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history. Muscle and nerve conditions
fucking
and
load
medications,
times,
including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
In a survey, 92% of current users said they wish they talked to their doctor and started Botox sooner. So ask your doctor if Botox is right for you. Learn how AbbVie could help you save on Botox.
Greg Napolitano here. Did you know there's a silver shortage? Former Wall Street analyst John Rubino predicts the silver shortage could cause an imminent price spike. Listen to this.
So the silver shortage, which we predicted for such a long time, is finally here. Solar and electric cars are using up all the metal that is out there, and then some. And that's going to spike the silver price in the next couple of years.
I used to own just gold. Now I also own silver. Why should you consider silver? Find out if the silver shortage report, and my trusted friends at Lear Capital will send it to you for free. Lear is who I trust whenever I buy silver.
Get your free silver shortage report and see why experts believe silver prices are set to soar. Lear Capital, over 25 years in business, thousands of 5-star reviews, and a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. When you call, ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus silver. Call 800-654-1010. 800-654-1010.
working and live in the same place, that very much makes it a local feel.
Because we're able to make meaningful connections with people right here in our community.
It kind of joke, but every time I walk in and say it's Corey, he's like, Coach Bro Corey, and then they just let me through.
I really feel good about that. We're helping other people.
Fucking hell. This mission's fucking cursed. Let's go back a few.
What they lost.
Not really. Not weird.
New inflation numbers slowed just a little bit last month from the previous month, but prices are still punishing Americans when you compare year to year, and that's what really counts. We're going in the wrong direction. By now, President Biden had promised we'd be at about 2%, which, by the way, when Trump left office, it was 1.4%. I don't know if we'll sniff that while Biden's in office. All of this comes after the Federal Reserve plans to meet today and will make a new, fresh decision on interest rates. It could have a big effect.
Holy shit.
Edward Lawrence is at the White House. Edward, talk to us about how this would change, if at all, depending on what the Fed does.
Yeah, well, it could, if interest rates get cut, that is definitely a help for
Got
those
people
getting
dying.
mortgage, getting
Just dying right, like without even.
The administration, President Joe Biden desperately needs interest rates to be cut. That would then open the door, or it needs inflation to fall, and that would open the door to the Fed cutting interest rates before the election. Now, 61% of the market believes that that's exactly what's going to happen in September. Now, this might then turn poll numbers in President Biden's favor if all that falls into place. CPI inflation is still increasingly sticky. Overall, up slightly, as you said, 3.3% year-over-year. Core inflation without food and energy prices for the past year fell a little more, 3.4%. Still both really far from the Fed's 2% target. When you look at what drove inflation, though, shelter up 5.4% over the last year. That's rent and home prices. You see gas up, used car prices did fall, but all food up 2.1%. Car insurance up more than 20% over the past 12 months.
When you look through this number, what you're seeing, again, is all the non-discretionary stuff, all the things that we have no choice but to spend money on: food, energy, housing, healthcare.
Holy fucking hit anything.
Incredibly sticky in terms of prices, I would say high and rising, whereas everything else is having to offset it.
So let's put this into context for the month when President Biden came into office and started instituting his policies. Overall CPI inflation still up more than 19%. Food and shelter costs up more than 21%. Auto insurance up 51.5% from the month President Biden came into office. Electricity up more than 29%. President Biden on his way to the G7 in Italy. But in his statement, he says prices are still high, but today's report shows welcome progress on lowering inflation. The bottom line is that inflation is still going up. It's just going up a little less than April. Back to you, Harris.
Wow. Thank you very much for breaking that down. The president's son, Hunter Biden's historic felony conviction, is raising some new questions about fallout for the president politically. The Trump campaign said after the verdict yesterday, this trial has been nothing more than a distraction from the real crimes of the Biden family crime. Hunter's conviction comes 2 weeks before President Biden and former President Trump were set to face off at their first debate this election cycle. And experts are already predicting that Hunter Biden's convictions will do little to change voters' minds. However, they are warning the case could take a toll on the president personally. Republican strategist Ryan Williams told Fox it's a deep personal blow to the president, but I don't think it will have that much of an effect on the election. Democratic strategist David Axelrod told the Washington Post, I don't think voters are going to hold the president accountable for his...
Last choice you missed, you fucking idiot.
Does he mean felonies? But I think the real question is the toll it takes on him and his family. Misbehavior. You mean crimes. Fox News contributors Guy Benson and Richard Fowler. All right. Let's start with how voters reacted after the conviction of Trump in New York, and now they have a second conviction of the president's son. Guy Benson didn't move the numbers on Trump. What do you think happens this time?
Probably similar, right? Because you had one of the actual candidates convicted of these felonies. I think it was illegitimate, but still those convictions are out there. And it didn't move the needle very much at all. This is the current president's son, so I'd be surprised if voters really shift very much on this, although it does kind of cloud some of the narratives surrounding Trump's trial and his conviction as well. And it's a headache for the Biden campaign because, don't forget, President Biden tried to make all of these problems go away for his son, and he almost succeeded with that sweetheart deal from DOJ, but it blew up on the launch pad because a federal judge asked a tough question at exactly the right moment. Otherwise, there would be no accountability for Hunter Biden.
Richard.
Look, I tend to agree with Guy on this bigger point. I don't think you're going to see a shift in the polls one way or the other. I think most voters look at this and say you have a troubled child who committed a crime, and that troubled child, yes, but he's still the president's child, and I think and that troubled child is now a convicted felon. We'll have to see what happens there. I do think, though, in this particular moment, because of this particular gun charge, I think there's some odd bedfellow to play here, right? Because of the case that happened last year in the Fifth Circuit, where the NRA is trying to get that question off the background check form.
All right, let's get to this. President Biden yesterday completely butchered a quote from President Thomas Jefferson during his speech, pushing gun reform, while making false claims about the Second Amendment. Let's watch.
Wow. This mission's impossible, man.
Never. You couldn't own a cannon.
Wow, you're down to one health. You just use your fucking...
Think about it. How much you hear this phrase? The blood of liberty. Wash your vote. Give me a break.
You know I love digging stuff up on American history. So the Washington Post has this. You don't have to look far in the Constitution to see the private individuals could own cannons. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 gave Congress the power to declare war. And in that, they can issue special waivers to private individuals to act as pirates on behalf of the United States. These individuals would own warships in an event of war and obviously obtained cannons for use in battle. Guy.
Biden has made this exact same misstatement before, and he keeps making it. He just doesn't learn from mistakes seemingly ever, and when you're 81 years old, you don't tend to change.
Richard,
I do like John's through American history. I do think it's worth pointing out that the Biden justice has prosecuted over 500 gun traffickers and it's take illegal guns off the street with a bill, the bipartisan bill that was passed last year to make it harder for folks to get guns. Bad for folks to get guns, to be specific.
And if you're right,
he said his son did nothing wrong.
Oh, if his son's a convicted felon, so we know that's not true.
Well, there you go. And if you're writing gun policy, maybe you should.
Well, there's one death.
You betcha. Gentlemen, thank you. Outnumbered after the break.
2 deaths. No, this mission's impossible, man. Go back.
My dad did 2 combat pilot tours in the Vietnam War, so I come back to retrace his most important steps.
I went to Vietnam to learn more about it and what it meant to serve this great country. Dad, you are always with me.
Footsteps of My Father with Harris Faulkner. If you're an active duty military or military veteran, sign up now and get your first year free.
Over 13 million Americans were affected by identity theft in 2022, and the threats are more than you realize. If you're a victim of identity theft, LifeLock works to fix it on your behalf, backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. Enroll now.
Let's bring back some guys.
Those who tried me felt more energy in just 2 weeks. Here, I'll take that.
Ensure Max Protein. 30 grams protein, 1 gram sugar, 25 vitamins and minerals, and a new fiber blend with a prebiotic.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today.
Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base.
That's where Grandpa used to play.
When our hearing wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone. It made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends and family.
Clear Captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone, like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it.
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required. Clear Captions service is provided at no cost to you through a federally funded program. We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connection they deserve.
Call now to see if you qualify to get a Clear Captions phone at no cost to you. Call 1-800.
Now we're a little bit better.
That's 1-800-979-0270.
CIDP disrupts.
CIDP derails.
Let's be honest.
CIDP sucks.
But living with CIDP
doesn't have to.
When you sign up at shiningthroughcidp.com, you'll find inspiration and real patient stories.
helpful tips, reliable information, and more.
CIDP can be tough,
but finding hope
just got a little easier.
Sign up at shiningthroughcidp.com.
Be heard, be hopeful, be you.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Connect with a provider today at ro.co/20.
Features, like the people they're made for, are meant to move. Groundbreaking targeted compression and an anatomical design for a custom-like thing, all backed by a lifetime guarantee. 15% off your first order at features.com.
Attention former Marines and family members stationed at Camp Lejeune. If you lived or worked at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina for at least 30 days from August 1953 to December 1987 and have been diagnosed with cancer, neurobehavioral effects, had a child born with birth defects, or been diagnosed with fertility issues or more, significant compensation may be available. Call Legal Injury Advocates now to process your administration claim before the August 10th, 2024 deadline. It has been proven that the water at Camp Lejeune during those years was extremely contaminated with toxic chemicals. Legal Injury Advocates has extensive experience helping to get the maximum compensation you deserve. Act now before it's too late.
Now we're saving it.
This fight. And there are no upfront costs to begin your journey to justice. The call is completely free. We're available 24 hours a day. Call Legal Injury Advocates to discuss your case now.
Call Legal Injury Advocates at 1-800-885-5599. That's 1-800-885-5599. 1-800-885-5599. Call now.
They crossed illegally into America. And now, we ask, how do people like those men make it through in a scenario now that has blown up since President Biden's executive action last week. According to the Department of Homeland Security, the 8 men each received a, quote, full vetting. And I put that in quotes because we don't really know what that means. During which no concerning information was flagged. Fox is told the ties to terrorism and security concerns only came to light after
saving it.
were released into the
Important
United
mission
States.
here.
I would shout that. The prompter has a...
See you guys next time, alright?
But do I have to shout?
Peace.
Is it a shout?
Next
In
time
a
we'll
joint
do it.
statement to Fox News, the FBI and DHS said, quote, as the FBI and DHS have recently described in public and partner bulletins, the U.S. has been in a heightened threat environment. The FBI and DHS will continue working around the clock with our partners to identify, investigate, and disrupt potential threats to national security. All of that, quote. Well, over the past 14 months, jihadists